gentlemen, welcome to Anime Watch Club, a bi-weekly group discussion and review where the hosts of the What Do You Say Anime podcast nominate and vote on shows either we haven't seen or shows that hopefully lead to a great discussion. On today's episode, we have odd fetishes, but at least we don't lick toilets brotherhood of the What Do You Say Anime podcast. We'll be reviewing the 1995 O&A Golden Boy. Let's meet today's Golden Men. First up, the entire episode was devoted to his taste in anime, and hopefully he liked what we picked up. The man, the myth, the legend. We got Haz. Haz, how's it going?
It's been a pretty eventful week. I feel like I came out the end of it a golden man, so I can't wait to talk about this show for sure.
Yes, sir. Next up, more of a marmalade boy. He's our lovable MC. We got Jay. Jay, how's it going?
It's going well. The person who is getting picked after me, I can tell that they have a foot fetish. I don't know who it is. Go on.
Next up, he has a foot fetish. He's also the Madam President to my Kintarou. We got Kat. Kat, how's it going?
Oh God, of course. Oh, why do you want the foot fetish? I'm doing great. Thanks.
Our first modern tonight, his wife nicknamed him BMO, but not after the motorcycle, but the fun console game from Adventure Time. We have Miles. Miles, how's it going?
Oh, it's going great. I've never watched Adventure Time, so I'm lost.
Damn it, I thought I had you there. Oh, and Pat.
Yeah. I was like, oh, we paused it for editing? Like, what's going on here? No, okay, that's cool. Yeah, we're here. And Kat, Kat did not deny the foot fetish accusation, by the way. So
Hey, I don't like feet. Bro.
Okay, cool. There we go. That's all we need to get out there, I guess. Golden Boy is what we watched. This aired back in 1995. Took a while. Took a while to air too and finish airing. The 6-episode OVA finished in 1996 in the summer. So solid 9 months for 6 episodes. Must have been so hard to stream it back then. Wink, wink. Shitty joke, yes. We're off to a flying start today, but it was done by Studio APPP. Maybe that was one too many P's, but they basically did nothing but Golden Boy and a couple random OVAs for JoJo's and Fist of the Blue Sky. Is that what it was called? Yeah, something along those lines. This is an adult cast venture comedy ecchi show. 28-minute episode OVAs are rated as well. So yeah, let's get into our spoiler-free section, our little first impressions, and would we recommend the show or not? Miles, why don't you start us off?
Yeah. So I wasn't sure what to expect with Golden Boy. Has said that it was his least favorite option of all the options. And so I was like, oh, is this even going to be Has Week? But then one episode in, I was like, it's going to be Has Week. So the show like hits you fast and hard, but it's pretty funny. It's also like really horny. But I think like the cast is like super fun, and like Kintarou is like a really, I don't know. I think this show might do like the likable horny guy the best out of anything I've seen, because like he is really likable. Like he's a cool dude. He's got some unique things about him. So if you can handle the horny, there's a lot of horny. I would definitely recommend Golden Boy.
I think we knew it was a Has show in the first like minute and a half of the show. Not just the first episode, but yeah, for sure. He is very horny. This guy kind of nuts. Kat, what about you?
Hey, so when I was looking for a show for Has Week, one of the things that he said to me about finding a show for him is you have to question his existence. You have to go deep into your soul and figure out exactly why this calls to you and exactly why this exists. And when you come back, you're still left with questions. Long-winded answer of what he actually said, but essentially, Has Week delivered. I was left questioning why this show existed, and found myself enjoying it. Like Miles said, it's very horny, but it is a fun show to watch. Not something that I would recommend to people who are like getting into anime, unless I know that they are some weird people. So maybe that dude that likes to I don't know, collect his toenail clippings or something like that. Like, this is the show that I would recommend to them. Not to say it's a bad show. I actually kind of like it, but it is also not something that I would recommend to new watchers.
Can you imagine this being someone's first anime? Like,
Oh, absolutely.
this is like every like senator or politician's like worst nightmare of like what anime is and how it corrupts the youth and all the bullshit like that, that comes along with
They're
it.
gonna be licking toilets and.
Yeah. Jay, what about you? What do you think?
Oh yeah, no, this show's gasoline. Like, I don't agree with a lot of the way. Like, honestly, it's weird. I don't really like perverted characters a lot of the time, but Kintaro is just—he hits different for me. He might legitimately, hot take, might be the best protagonist that we've had in Anime Club for me personally. Like, he might be my favorite out of all the ones we've.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's likable for sure, but I don't know.
That's
Someone.
Yo,
There's got to
let-
be someone.
Let Jay cook. Let Jay cook.
Nah, I don't. I can't think of anybody. Any
What about like Joe from Megalobox?
Nah, Kintaro would win.
What about the MC from Guilty Crown?
Oh, fuck
No.
that guy. He's even worse.
I know. You guys called him Hitler. I remember.
Yeah. I mean, he did turn into
He
Hitler.
did have a Hitler on him.
Yeah, I know.
He gave
that's why-
Bochi an 8.
True.
Jay also
Oh,
gave.
So
Bush
yes,
a
I would recommend this to someone if you're not like, as long as you're not like, kind of squeamish about the pervy stuff, then I would recommend this. And honestly, if you can look past it, then you'll probably still enjoy it. So yeah, definitely recommend.
I agree with that. It is perverted, but like I do agree with you too that it's easy to look past if you like just stop paying attention to it, which not in every episode, but in most episodes it is easy to look past, I think. Pete, what about you?
Yeah, I've known of Golden Boy for a while. Just based off what I've heard, it's always been kind of a deterrent of why I never got into it. Just as I've gotten older, that type of stuff hasn't really resonated with me as much. But Golden Boy is definitely the exception to this because this show was fucking hilarious. In an era where probably sexual harassment at work was pretty common, this is pretty tame for what I was expecting. I would recommend this to honestly a lot of people, as long as you give them the warning of like, this is what the show is about, like just be prepared, because even someone like me this is not my go-to bag, I thought it was incredible. So yeah, I would recommend this to a lot of people just with the trigger warning of like what they're getting into.
Fair enough. And Haz, what about you?
Yeah, man. Golden Boy. I mean, I feel like Golden Boy, at least within certain crowds of anime, is pretty popular. I feel like most people know what Golden Boy is. If you into anime at least. So I knew this shit was, I knew it was popping. And the first few episodes, they was gas. I'm not gonna lie, they was cooking. I think a lot. It. I sort of said this to Miles and a few other people. It gave me big FLCL vibes, but for like horny people, right? For, for like a slightly, not that FLCL isn't, it don't got in moments, but like this is for a different crowd, This is for you woke up and you was like, what is $1 at the bargain bin for anime? And you was like 8 and like going through shit and you saw big titties and you picked it up, right? That's the vibe. And it's all aesthetic and they got nice sunsets. It's a very warm color palette. Makes you feel nostalgic as fuck. I love it. It was great. Highly recommend. Of course, as everyone said though, it is horny. So if you can't handle that, that's tough. You're gonna miss
No
out on
one's
some
tuning
good
in for
stuff.
Has Week if they can't handle horror.
I don't got like you're not here right now expecting like tame shit with this fucking suits and ties. We out here mud wrestling and shit. You feel me? We out here mud wrestling.
Okay. Yeah, I think everyone else already did a pretty good job summing up the first few episodes. If you could probably watch a show for 5 minutes and know if it'll be for you or not, or if you're able to tolerate it, because it starts off hot and it slows down a little bit, but it really doesn't slow down that much. It's just a lot, and it was a little too much for me at times, but I still enjoyed it. The comedy in it is very very funny, I think. And it's not always reliant on him being horny being the butt of the joke too. Like there is actual good comedy and clever dialogue, witty dialogue, good dubbing in my opinion as well. That makes it a little easier to watch. So I would recommend this to I don't know. Like I'd recommend this to people who know about anime and understand that some shows just got to check those boxes, right? And with the subject matter especially it is too, but would not recommend this to everyone though. Definitely would not recommend it to everyone. So yeah, let's get into our spoilers. I mean, it's not that reliant on the plot of the show, but it does all come together. So it is. I would suggest pausing us. It's only a 3-hour show. If you want to go watch it before continuing. But yeah, does anyone have a specific talking point that they'd like to start on? Do we want to just start off right away with what our favorite episode was, or what our favorite character
I think we should
was?
talk about why Kintarou is so cool.
Why
What,
Kintaro?
what makes him cool? Like, I don't know. I just think he has this because I think both Jay and I said we don't normally like horny characters,
Yes.
and then I liked Kintaro, and then Jay's like Kintaro is the best MC in the history of media. That's a direct quote. And
Kintaro is the best MC in the history of media.
see,
That is now a quote.
We're adding that to the soundboard.
I had a thing, but there was like a few like the fact that he like went to Tokyo U for law and like got all the credits and then just left is I feel like such a Chad move that it's impossible not to like him. Like it's something that's technically I think in only downside. There's technically no upside to that move, but that's why it's cool.
Yeah. I think like Kintaro, I'm gonna steal a point from a video essay about Life is Strange and No More Heroes. Kintaro is like, he's perverted and he has all these like things that I think most people would associate with bad character design. But I think what ends up happening is a lot of ecchi shows or like shows that rely on sexual comedy rely on this sort of it's all fluffy, right? Like it's comfort anime in a weird way for horny people. I was telling Pete before, and as a result, I think the characters themselves there's not much there. The MCs are all the same, right, or some shit. Whereas Kintaro like has like, despite him being a pervert, like he has a goal to like learn every episode. Like there's something about him that's redeeming and charming in a weird way, even if he is this huge pervert. So I think that also helps. That he's what's his saying? He's like so uh so educated. He says some shit like he's always learning or some shit every episode, or
Always
some
studying.
variation on the
So educational.
so educational every episode. And I think that's like his driving point. And they frame it as he's the guy who might save the world one day. I think that's super cool. You could be this misfit and still have a system. Yeah.
Haz, I like your point, but earlier you said it was FLCL for horny people. I just want to clarify something. This is not FLCL for horny people. This is Mushishi for horny people.
Okay. Okay.
Episodic, solving problems in small Japanese villages. It's Mushishi.
Shit. Well, I mean, that sounds. I believe it. I can't argue against that.
I think I would agree. I think what makes Kentaro so cool is like with other MCs, they show like their flaws and their weaknesses, and it's like, oh, I grew up poor and now I want to be rich, or I grew up weak and now I want to be strong. And Kentaro's weakness is like he gets super horny over toilets, and I think he just says out loud what a lot of people would be thinking at those certain moments, and those are his flaws. And the fact that he's like a super smart genius that can solve all these problems with like whether it's programming overnight or if it's teaching kids how to swim, his problem solving abilities is just really unique and fun to a story that I guess only is seen in Mushishi, I guess. So. Yeah, I thought he's just like a bundle of fun with just like the right amount of, if you're gonna throw in horny, there's like a level before it spills over the cup. His is like right at the top. Like that's just the perfect amount of horny for me.
He's a karate master too, Pete. You forgot.
Oh yeah,
that.
no. There's some manga spoilers that I know of him that he's a very unique individual.
So I feel like Kintarou is almost like a likable Hank Pym if I'm gonna like point to another nerdy medium of Marvel. Like everything about him, like on paper, seems like something that you would hate. But like Pete said, it's something that it seems like something that someone would actually have. Like it's not just like cliche type of like flaws, but it's like he's very human in an inhuman way, kind of. So like just the way he goes about life. What I'm getting.
I wouldn't mind if he like. I guess he doesn't technically succeed in his levels. Like even despite his levels of horny, like with any of the girls, so to speak, they all fall in love with him somehow.
In the anime.
You know, in the anime, I should say too. Well, that's the thing. Like maybe that's why I was biased sitting there watching the show, knowing that apparently he just hooks up with everyone after the anime finishes. But even like the fact that they don't arrest him, sometimes it was like, Jesus Christ, like this guy is like this is
He's
too horny
smooth.
for. I guess so. He's just so smooth that he makes them all fall in love with him. And again, it was like fun how it culminated together at the end. But it's just like, dude, you are like I don't know. For me, Pete, that cup, the surface tension was not bubbling. It was spilling all over my table at certain points where I was just like, this is just too much. And it wasn't just him. The fucking chick in the motorcycle. That was. Again, it was funny at points, but it like the dialogue, her inner dialogue was funny. But like, did we need to see her humping the motorcycle for 30 seconds?
Yes,
we did.
Twice?
Yes,
it was necessary to the plot.
Ah, yes.
You just
you don't get Bebo.
I just don't get it. Yeah, Bebo.
Look, men aren't fast. Motorcycles are fast. That's why she's having sex with her motorcycle.
Yes. I think another,
God forbid she ever rides a horse.
I think
seriously.
I also think like, the contrast of like him being so horny is contrasted by like the women in the show are like mostly in control like the entire time, which I think is kind of unique. Where like at every point it's like it's always the ladies that are running the show essentially, and Kintarou is fixing the problem, but like they are kind of like the staple in the story of like who is the hierarch, and it's always them. So I thought that was like a really cool contrast because usually it's like the ecchi harem MC is all the girls are always fawning over him, but like this is a little different, and I like that style.
So essentially, Kintarou is a power bottom.
I think he adamantly admits that. I think at one point he says, "Please dominate me, mommy," to the swim teacher. When he has that, when she's in the dominatrix suit or whatever, I'm pretty sure that's the exact quote.
I know I'm 10 days late on this, but you mean he is submissive. A bottom does not necessarily mean they are submissive. It just means they take it.
Is he breedable?
I mean, yeah, he has a ponytail, so
yeah.
like...
Okay, point. Submissive and breedable? I don't know. I might be telling on myself.
I'm cutting my hair.
Hey, did you guys know that in terms of male and female? Yeah, no.
Yeah, all right.
So, one thing I
joke.
wanted to say, it's okay. You've been.
I did that on purpose. I did it on purpose. I'm glad we moved on.
I mean, you've been doing it for a long time.
So Trent was telling me about this show, and he told me, in not so many words, he was comparing it to Seinfeld. And so he talks about how they all get arrested at the end of Seinfeld. And then what he meant to imply was like, instead of people like coming against Kintarou, like they come and like favor for him, but he says they testify on his behalf. That was the words he used. So I was waiting this entire show for Kintarou to get arrested. And then he just never did. But it made me watch the show on like the edge of my seat, because every time he was like sniffing the toilet or whatever, I'm like, this is it. he's gonna get arrested. And when he does the thing in episode 6 with like he accidentally like cuts the guy's hair, like in that split second before like the hair comes, I'm like, did he accidentally kill this guy? Like that's what was going through my head because I thought he got arrested. He just never did. But it really enhanced my enjoyment of the series. So thank you, Trent.
When did you feel most assured that the police would come and arrest Kintarou?
Okay, so there's a few places. In episode 6, he had not been arrested, right? So
Mhm.
I was thinking maybe the end of episode 5, but that didn't happen. So I'm like, episode 6, you know, he has this like boss who's like on him who isn't a girl. So like maybe this is finally it.
Okay.
So he starts like licking that toilet or whatever,
Mhm.
like like a true degenerate, which was mostly the only part that was always too much for me. Like I get being horny, but like holy shit, chill, dude. And so I was like, okay, he's gonna get arrested. But then he didn't. No one cared. And then he like I thought he was gonna stab the guy. And then when that didn't happen, I was like, is this guy just never gonna get arrested? So
I guess I find it fascinating you thought Kintaro 6 episodes deep was violent enough to stab somebody.
no, it was an accident, but I thought like maybe, you know, like he accidentally stabs him, he gets taken in by the police, but then the girls are like, there's no way he would have intentionally stabbed someone because I gave him every opportunity and he
Mhm.
didn't take it.
And then he would still get arrested because of the Japanese penal system.
And then it would, yeah, and then yes. Well, it does get a little political afterwards, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was like a plot point.
I kind of
Okay.
do want to. I kind of want to spoil the manga, but
We
The-
can do
We
it.
can just give a warning and say, 'cause I think most of us are not gonna go read it after. I think we're all.
I
well,
listened to some of the reviews, Sim, but I will deafen for that if you do it because I do
yeah,
wanna
well,
read
I'll,
Okay.
I'll pass on.
Yeah, let's okay.
oh, yeah.
So I have our favorite episodes from that. If anyone's curious, what the
Okay.
final results for our group's final episodes were.
Run it.
So our favorite episode was episode 6, which I think makes sense. I bet everyone liked that. It had a really satisfying ending. We then had episode 5 as our second favorite. So Pat,
Vroom,
you're
vroom,
alone
baby.
on that one. Then we had episode 1, episode 3 tied for third, and then 4, and then 2 coming in like a pretty distant last. It was a bit interesting to me. But let's discuss the episodes, I guess, because there's only 6 of them. Yeah, does that make sense to everyone?
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
sort of run through those. Okay.
Yeah.
Episode 1. What did people like? What did they not like? This was one of my lesser favorites, but I'll go after because I think people mostly enjoyed it. So
I've been here
Well-
about 2 miles. Don't worry. I was like, Jesus, this is what we're watching, and I thought it got better. Actually,
yeah, I agree.
I think episode 1 is just really good at setting the tone for the entire show. I think because we'll probably discuss some of the more ridiculous things that happen in later episodes, but I think that episode 1 is just the right level of ridiculous that it allows the story to do both some of the things that happen in later episodes, like I think like with the bike stuff, and also some of the more, I would say, grounded stories. Grounded being used with quotes because it is still anime. But yeah, I think it's a really good tone setter.
Yeah, mimicking what Haz says, I think it did set the tone just based off of the humor as well, where like he learned how to type because he like got a piece of paper and drew a keyboard and was practicing. Like I think like that stuff really set the tone with like not like the gag humor, but sort of like the subtle humor that we got in Golden Boy. But then we also got like the perverted humor where we first see him cleaning toilets or going into the women's locker room, and they're really showing like everybody change their clothes. So I think it just like if you liked episode 1, you knew right away that you were going to like the rest of the show. And then kind of like the flip at the end where we kind of found out that like, oh, Kintaro's super smart and he solved all the problems because he's a fucking genius. And I was like, oh, that's fun. Like that's I didn't really honestly see that coming. So yeah, I just like a great tone setter is like the focal point.
Yeah, I enjoyed the first episode. Yeah, I agree with what everyone else said that it's a fantastic tone setter. Yeah, I think it really just sets up Kintaro's character well. That he's the type of person where he loves to learn, and even if he's like put at a disadvantage, he'll figure out a way to like learn to do what he wants. We get the view of like him drawing in his notebook and stuff like that, so we get an idea of like how important that is to him. And I think that overall, like, yeah, it's just like a super good intro to the series and prepares you for what you're going to get into for the rest of it, hopefully.
My biggest qualm with it, one, for whatever reason, the fact that he swallowed the spit made me want to die. Though I get that's going to be hot for some people.
Yeah.
But for me, I feel like Kintaro's like a really smart dude, and like this episode, he seemed dumb. Like it was sort of like Pete was saying, like a plot twist that he was smart at the end. Like I was ready to like just murder him when he was like, "Oh, I gotta save energy," and then he just like unplugs their fucking router, and then
That I knew.
That hurt me as well.
That hurt.
Yeah,
that hurt. Yeah.
Especially in the 90s. And that's a funny thing about this show too. Sorry to cut in here,
no,
but
go ahead.
this is like pre people knew about cell phones, right? So like I always love watching these shows and thinking about like some of the things that happen in the show are before people even knew really how powerful computers would be or how easy phones and like communication would be too. So the idea that he's just traveling around and doing various random jobs and is hard to track down kind of makes sense. Like I thought that was a really cool aspect of the show, at least.
Oh
I don't
yeah, I definitely agree with that. I don't know. To me, this whole bit where like, because like in the next episode we'll talk about, you see that he's like helping the girl psychologically because he's like assessed her and everything, and like I
Yeah.
thought that was fun. But like for this one, it was like he was amazing at computers, but he also was so dumb that he ruined everything. And like I feel like in the other ones he never really like ruins the stuff. He just is helpful, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. So that's why I like the dynamic of this one a little
He-
less than the others.
he just offers a new perspective in the
Yeah.
others, it seems like, rather than like you said in this one. Yeah, he definitely I like, I don't know, just how the fuck, I guess. Oh well, his excuse is he practiced computer coding on a piece of paper.
Which is funny.
That was really a funny gag, right? Like that was a great gag, but it was also just like, how fucking ridiculous is this show? It did definitely come out and just punch you in the face, and not just the etchy, but also like we've talked about, the just ridiculous things he does and the ways he acts. But um I I agree with Miles. I think that spit scene made me squirm. I really thought when people do that, like, or send that GIF, because it's a very popular GIF on Discord and everything, I thought for sure that was just like photoshopped or edited or something. Like, no, that is the real thing that happens. Like, that's about as lucky as he gets in the show too. I guess, other than
The swimming scene.
the swimming scene. Yeah.
I gotta assume he had sex with the motorcycle woman because she would not go to help him out without banging him first.
She didn't catch up to him. He got away.
Yeah, but they met up again.
Yeah, she's like, I'll deliver your like
She
frames
yeah.
if you fuck me.
I assume that he paid. I assume he paid for it in sex. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
The motorcycle girl is, or the
The
episode 6 is. Oh, that's even more fun. I like that because it's about them making an anime episode. Well,
the self insert them. I will talk about it when we get there. Oh my
yeah,
god, it's so funny.
with the actual images of the office desk, that was really good.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was awesome too. Yeah.
That was so funny. I assume that's the self insert, or I guess there were a couple.
Well, no, when the mangaka comes in and he's like we have to be careful. It's the world's most handsome mangaka or whatever, and
is
it's
that
just
what the
like,
bit
yeah,
was? Okay.
because they were
Yeah.
making Golden Girl, right? So like it was just
Yeah.
Yeah, and the name of the Golden Boy mangaka is literally Tetsuya Ingawa, the same as they used in the show.
Gotcha. Okay, that's pretty funny. Yeah, that bit was hilarious. I guess, I don't know. I mean, we were pretty much done with episode 1 talking about it anyway. So I guess,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just skip over to episode 6. It's fine.
Why
Yeah,
not?
it's
Why not?
much like Kintarou, we go wherever the wind takes us.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
We're all learning. Study hard. Study
Yeah,
hard.
study. So episode 2, the girl in it is the daughter of a politician, and she is like, I guess, trying to manipulate Kintarou. And so the plot sort of revolves around her getting off on her ability to manipulate him, but really, Kintaro was manipulating her the entire time,
40 chess.
which I thought was fucking hilarious when she read his diary, and it was like, I wonder if her issues with her father are why she she was just like, oh my
so
god,
she's
that's
a daddy
exactly,
con. Yeah.
like that's exactly correct. But this was our lowest rated episode. So do you guys just like it less than the other ones, or do you have any problems with it, or whatever? We can start.
I honestly
I-
confused it with the next one. I'm sorry. That's my bad.
Okay.
I kind of liked it less than the first, like, because episode 6 comes right after episode 5, obviously, but like episode 5 was so fucking good to me because that was the viral episode. That's the one where you see all the clip of him riding down the power line and going off the cliff. Like, that's hilarious to me. This one just kind of felt not necessarily lower energy, but lower energy, and I didn't really vibe with that as much. So, um, it was a great bit with him, like with him manipulating the manipulation type manipulation perception type thing. But for me, it just felt a little bit lower energy than I wanted than the show had like set out.
To me, so I'm comparing the Golden Boy episodes to Satoshi Kon movies, where
Okay, so
you have to rank a Satoshi
Fair.
Kon movie last, even if it's
Okay.
fucking great. There's your least favorite or worst Satoshi Kon movie.
this is the paprika.
This is this is actually the Tokyo Godfathers for me.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
dare you?
Yeah, sorry. Tokyo Godfather. That's the thing. It's like Tokyo Godfather is my least favorite Satoshi Kon movie. Fucking amazing film, but something's gotta come in last. Same here. Episode 2 was hilarious. I loved it. Like you said, the journalist part was great, but there was something missing that I didn't have in the other ones, and that's why it's gotta come in last. But still a hilarious episode. I loved it.
I think I like that one. Yeah, that one was probably in my top 3 or 4. But even then, like, that's only out of 6.
Yeah, there's only.
So,
Hot take.
I really I liked it, but I just hot take that there's 6 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I liked the. I don't know. I guess I liked the girl a lot in this one more than I liked 5 for sure because I don't know, like, it was interesting to try and see like what her motivations were or try and figure that out. I think this one really just like made sure that if you didn't fully grasp to what the show was from the first episode, this one like really spelled it out for you. Like it made it very very clear what to expect going forward. Which
I don't really have much to say on this. I'll be real. One of those episodes that ended up on my mind, but I remember having a good time. So
Okay.
I'm sorry. This is I full disclosure. I think Golden Boy is super entertaining. But I also believe it's entertaining in a very casual sense. So
You weren't taking
Yeah.
notes.
yeah, I wasn't giving it the proper respect. Clearly.
do we have to when we do a Miles show week? We all have to
Have
take
to
notes.
take-
don't
Oh
we?
no,
We
I
all
don't
have
even
to
take notes for
on
D&D
it.
night.
On
It should
every
be,
episode.
It should
we have
be
to take notes.
a show that you can only understand if you take notes on every episode. You should have to
True.
consult Wikipedia multiple times.
So we'll just
Prince
put on
Apprentice.
Higurashi again. Like that's what we're gonna do. Because I'm not taking notes for anything except for Higurashi, and I'm gonna make Preston do it for me. So
he already has like 70 pages of them or something.
Already
exactly, he's gonna have 3 more.
Okay.
There we go.
So episode 3, I think, is like a bit of a mixed bag episode for like our group. I think people had it high or low. I know I was high on it, but it's the ramen shop episode with Noriko where she's thinking about getting engaged to the Yakuza guy. And so what I really appreciated about this episode was I thought it like showed the range that this show has, because like Golden Boy's got some range. this is like a pretty wholesome little episode. And Kintarou was like not very horny in it. And I appreciated that. I thought that was like really cool. I thought the plot was neat and intriguing. I thought it was, there's the scene where he like beats the guy up and he's like, I can't believe that I've like unleashed my master's power for something so silly. And like, to me, that just makes him so cool. Like, that comes out of nowhere, and it's just like, he's like, oh, this dude's like a fucking black belt, okay? And you just had no idea.
And I like that too, because like the show has already kind of proven to you too that he has a bunch of just random ass skills because he's so educated. He's traveled a bunch, so it's that I didn't mind him all of a sudden being like, oh yeah, no, I could kick this guy's ass if I had to, but I didn't really want to if I didn't have to. The jerk off scene too. Oh my god, that was so fucking funny. When the guy like Rifle said it, the Looney Tunes bit where
where they're
she
doing
goes
the
to
zipper,
undoing their shirt, and then he buttons it back up, and the guy's like,
comes
"What?
back in and
All right,
picks it
fine,
up.
I'll go below." Unzips
Yeah.
it, zips it back up, and then the guy grabs his hand and is like, "Oh yeah, feeling it," and fucking kisses. That shit was. It was
Gives
like
him the corkscrew.
corkscrew kiss, yeah, some bullshit like that. Like again, that was where I thought like the horny bullshit was like kind of funny and more tame, I guess. I also really liked the quote at one point. It's the first time he meets the Yakuza guy. I think I put it in the chat. He says, the Yakuza guy goes, "Oh, you have no respect for me." And he goes, no. Like very like blatantly just goes like, no. Yeah, like he doesn't even like think about it. And it was just again, that was credits to the dub for being so excellent. I think this episode though, I agree with you, Miles, that it was very like wholesome throughout. Like
at the
really
end
nice.
when he's like, the flowers are for whoever you love, right? You told me that. And like it was like him kind of like rejecting her in like a very
gentle way,
kind,
right?
gentle way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I was just I don't necessarily know if on paper it's my favorite episode, but like just the range after the first two was like, I was like, damn, Golden Boy, you're like, it was weird because it was really in the pocket, but that's what made it so out of pocket,
Yeah, stay golden, Golden Boy. Right?
Yeah.
Anyone else have thoughts on this one?
It's also, I think, pretty good coming off of episode 2. Just because, not to be no prude or nothing, but like I get the manipulation shit, but sometimes I was a little uncomfortable watching the whole like schoolgirl ecchi shit. I don't know if I'm getting old these days or something, but I'm getting up there in age when I'm saying that. But I thought this was a good way to even it out, because this was really wholesome, like you said. I also just really enjoyed um sort of the like, it almost felt like a real dramatic event because it was so less etchy. I don't know if anyone else felt that, but like when they were on the bridge and talking and like the guy started yelling, like I was like invested, like my heart hurt a little when they tried to play it off and she was crying. I was like, damn sis, like you ain't have to go through all that. So yeah, I think episode 3 hit a little harder in the feels for real because of it. So no etchy and shit.
I was middle of the road with this one. I think it was not my worst. Like what Pat said, definitely in my top 4. But yeah,
somewhere in my top 6 Golden Boy
yeah,
episodes.
for sure.
Did it meddle? Did it meddle? Maybe.
It was top 4. Yeah, so yeah, it was solid.
That does not answer my question.
It was top 4, and
I
it
mean,
wasn't 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah, it was just
Yeah.
nice to like not be horny for a second, like pop the brakes for a little bit, and then get back into it later. So yeah, it was a nice rest stop.
Yeah, and the strokes for different folks too. I mean, there's still tits on the screen too at different points in the episode. They just weren't
Yeah,
the woman that was like involved in the show, which was kind of
Yeah, it the range of the show, truly incredible.
yeah.
So next up, we have the one that definitely awoken something in Haz because he kept messaging me about it. Which is, Pete, are you a fan of this one
Oh,
too?
Best
the swimming
Girl.
one?
This is Best Girl right here.
Oh,
This is
it's
Best Girl? That's
This is
crazy.
Best Girl.
Damn, me and P on the same page.
Wow, I
Yes,
should have
sir.
made ranked choice for the Best Girl.
You
That was
should've.
really, really dumb of me.
You should have.
Okay, so Pete, you want to take us away on episode 4 then?
I mean, this is honestly maybe not one of my favorite episodes, but I just loved Ayuko or whatever her name is, the swimming
Oh.
teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, big fan of her. Big fan of her design. Okay, so you know how like the spinning thing got like that sent shivers up your guys' spine. This is me with like the kids like shitting their pants and like throwing up in the pool. I'm like, oh my god, now they have to evacuate the pool. Oh, that's what was going through my mind. I wasn't laughing. I was like, oh, gross.
Dude, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I got shit on twice while I was watching that episode, probably.
You must have loved episode 4 then.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, this is what I deal with. Cooper throws up on me as I'm thinking that. Like,
Hey.
But I want to quote the Wikipedia for this episode. There's one comment and it says, "Why the fuck did they censor his boner but not the tits?" Love that. Yeah, this is
I wonder.
This is a fun episode. Yeah, the swimming scene where he inhales something that was good. Yeah, and I just like the end conclusion. It's like the little kids really look up the coach Kintarou. I was like, "Aw, that's just adorable."
Yeah, man. This episode, this was it. This was it, baby. First off, shout out Ayuko, top tier, golden girl number, gold medalist, gold medalist. That's a boss. That's a boss. That's a girl boss if I've ever seen one.
The Olympics too. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
feel me? Different level, different caliber.
And she loses
And-
to Kintaro.
You know,
On
Kintaro
purpose.
is a man of many talents. You feel me? And Kintaro is a Kirby main in Smash Bros. You feel me? And it's not like his fault that he's that good. You feel me?
Is it because he sucks everything up? Like,
Yeah.
what's the?
Yeah,
That's the Kirby
Fair
draw.
enough.
when you
okay.
sailing in the seas, bro, sometimes your boat gets hit, you know, and you gotta if you can't realign that, that's up for you, and that's
What Bible
where
verse
you-
is that from? Like really?
Exodus 6:13 or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
like
yeah,
this.
no, it was great, and it was really wholesome too. I think this had the good ratio too of horny, right, and like wholesome, sit and like the absurdity of the horniness too, because obviously you could make it like a little more tame, but like it was still Golden Boy, and I still felt like Kentaro would be the hero to the little kids. He's a little grown ass kid himself. And I thought it was so cool.
I agree. The horny was like the ratio of like wholesome to horny in this episode was really good too. I think this is my second favorite one.
Oh, it's coming back. So
What?
I said it's coming back next episode.
Oh, the episode. Oh, yeah. No, don't worry. It turns all the way around. And yeah, makes sense. This is Pete's best girl because he's got her tattooed on his arm. You know, so. Where is
As
she?
you
There
should.
she
Oh
is.
yeah, okay.
There she
That's
is.
a baddie. That's a baddie.
Yeah, that was quick work by your artist, Pete. That's impressive, honestly.
Quick turnaround.
Prepared for the episode. Yeah.
Episode 5 is peak fiction.
Yes.
Objectively, a top 4 episode of Golden Boy. So
Yeah.
this one,
I disagree, actually.
Yeah.
But fair enough.
Yeah, so this one, I'll be quick for mine because I've already talked a little bit, but I think this shows the other end of the range of Golden Boy, and that's why I liked it. Because not only is this probably the horniest episode, it's also the most insane. Just like things have been relatively grounded as far as physics go in Golden Boy, I feel like.
Mhm.
There's some like animation stuff, but he rides a bike on power lines in this out of nowhere. It randomly adds a bunch of fourth wall breaking jokes where he's like, you can't fire me, I haven't had a plot line yet, like there hasn't been a side plot, and then he goes camping to try to find a side plot, which is amazing. I love that.
That was really funny. I liked
Yeah.
that too.
People's thoughts on episode 5.
My favorite scene was the Yakuza like self-satisfaction, like the Yakuza boss like introduction when you meet the woman and she's talking to Kintaro about like what her and her BMO baby get up to, and it's just like a very over it's just shot in the most wild way, and Kintaro's just standing there, and I think like you said, it shows the range of the show because it seems like something that would happen in Golden Boy. I didn't feel like I was taken out, and that's really some expert writing right there, if you ask me.
This episode was crack. Like it was okay. Like it was fucking insane. Just the amount of the amount of fun that I had during this episode. I was on the floor the entire episode. It was like it was hilarious and just the amount of it feels like you're a lawyer who just took some cocaine to get through a hard case and just at the end getting done and then getting that huge paycheck. This is what I feel like this would be like because it's fucking hilarious. And like I understand why this episode is clipped all the time and why it is such a viral clip, why it is such a viral anime thing. It makes so much sense to me and I love it.
Okay, yeah, I just really enjoyed this episode quite a bit. I thought that the racing shots were pretty beautifully done. I think the backgrounds were going crazy in this episode when they were racing and stuff, like the mountain pass and everything. Skybox was, I'm using a video game term, but the sky was beautifully painted and everything. It really just reminded me a lot of why I love old school anime, which is just like the hand drawn detail. I know that it's not sustainable anymore, and I understand why it's changed. But the hand drawn detail from those old school anime like Golden Boy, I think that it just really adds like another layer of soul to the art of it. And that was like one of the big draws of this episode for me, is I guess it really reminded me in a lot of ways of what I enjoy about 80s anime, from the art to like the racing to character designs to the humor to everything. And I think that this episode encapsulates what made me really enjoy Golden Boy in general, is just encapsulating that feeling of 80s anime.
I guess what it was just the horny, and then like Miles said, like they'd pretty much been grounded in physics for the most part up to this point. For it to become so absurd, like him chasing down a bike, a literal motorbike up hills with a bike, with a physical hand bike, or whatever I guess foot pedal bike. It was just like Jesus Christ, like what can't Kintaro do? Which
I wish he died. I have to say it. I
yeah.
wish he died. Yeah, I would have thought that would have been so fucking funny. Has anyone seen Eastbound and Down?
I have.
No, but I want to watch it. I know it. I've seen everything else from Danny McBride.
So at the end of do you care about a scene?
No, I don't care. It's
Okay.
not good.
So at the end of the first season, they don't know if they're getting renewed or not. So they have him just die in this horrible fucking car crash. And that was the first episode I saw. I was just like going through TV one day, and I was like, "Oh, this is what a funny thing." And it's like, "Oh, this guy must be the main character." Then he just drives off a cliff or whatever, and fucking explodes, and it cuts to black. And I'm like, "That's the best TV I've ever seen. This is amazing." And I kind of wish it had done that, because as much as I would have missed Kintaro, I would have loved for him to go doing what he loved, which was biking and studying. Um, so, and lastly, we have episode 6, which is a cool anime original episode about how working in an anime studio is awful. So, nice tie-in to Zom 100 from this week.
Mhm.
This was cool because it like brought everything together in like a really neat way, and like that's like just always such a fun trope. So I imagine people have like good things to say about this one. Anyone want to start us off?
Yeah, this is like this is my second favorite episode of the whole thing. I loved, like, yeah. I'm also really glad that the show ended here. Like, we don't get a season 2 type of thing. Like, I just think Golden Boy is cemented in legacy because of the 6 episodes that we got and for what it was. And I think they accomplished everything that they wanted to do. And it just ended on a fantastic. So yeah, big fan of episode 6.
It made me laugh a lot. Like a lot of this, like we talked about the self-referential humor a little bit earlier. but I also felt like I learned something about anime production to some extent too, which was cool.
How educational.
I know.
Yeah.
It's great.
It makes
Study,
you
study.
study. Yeah.
Study, 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 study. I would say for me, my best girl was in the Chie or whatever. I thought she was really fun and nice. I thought it was so funny too when he, like Kintarou, like takes the blame by when the tea spills or whatever, and he just goes
Oh, just starts rubbing it.
rubbing
Yeah.
it, like, and then so she gets pissed at him instead of her. I thought that was a fun little way to show his how maybe his horniness can help him at times be a good empathetic person or a caring, or vice versa, that his horniness can be uh misconstrued or misconstrue him, even though he was probably just trying to like soften the blow for the for Chie or whatever. But cool. I really like this episode. The tying together trope is really nice. I like it when everything is a nice little neat little bow at the top, and everything makes sense, and there's a reason why we learn so much about each of these different characters and who they were. I thought that's really fun.
Yeah, no, sorry. I agree. The sixth episode, the way that it just tied everything together was beautiful in my opinion. The I love to look into like anime production and stuff. That was great. Obviously, like, relatable to Zom 100. Also, kind of reminded me a bit about how they go like inside baseball and like Oshinoko about stuff sometimes. They don't really do anime production in Oshinoko at any point, but they do talk about like manga and it getting adapted to other things. So kind of similar. But like I love like the scene where Kintaro is just getting all of the former girls to like help out and everything was just excellent to me. I really enjoyed watching everything come together and just seeing how they all were like how he affected all of their lives so much to where that they would like travel, some of them travel across the country to go help this random animation studio more or less. And yeah, like the ending whenever Kintaro just leaves and picks all of his stuff up and goes, and then they're all like, "Well, we have to catch up with him," and they're all like in the car or
Yeah,
on the
going after
motorcycle,
him.
chilling with each other. It's like, damn, he's kind of got like a Scott Pilgrim type thing going on
Yeah.
in reverse. I loved it. I think that this was a great way to wrap up a very funny series, and yeah, like I think that the last two episodes really captured the feelings of the entire series for me neatly.
I like that the range you had just mentioned, like people were going across the country. The range of tasks they do include like making people ramen for when they're hungry, which is like what a reasonable thing to do, to developing animation software specifically for this like podunk studio and like abandoning all their other work. It was just an amazing scale of tasks to be completed. Um,
Based on what you guys saw, would you have watched The Valley Where the Demon Cries?
yes,
Yeah, oh yeah.
Just a
100%.
demon running through
Oh, the
traps like
movie?
Tomb
Yeah.
Raider.
Okay, yeah, no, I would have watched that absolutely.
It looks like it's a bit out of Cabin in the Woods. Like it's one of the things that like has to, I don't know if anyone's seen Cabin in the Woods, but like
I have, yeah.
Yes,
okay, it's like a
very good movie.
kindergarten class in Japan that like defeats a demon.
Yeah,
That's the second to last like game that was running. So like I don't know, it's just because there were kindergartners and a demon. I like in my head that was like from the Cabin in the Woods folks.
Yeah.
I think we all enjoyed the show a good amount. Do we have any other topics and stuff we want to bring up before we wrap up?
I think we're pretty good to
Yeah,
move
it
on
was
to
neat
closing
having
thoughts.
like a 6 episode episodic thing, so we could just literally go through all of it.
Yeah.
All right, let's do our closing thoughts then. Miles, what are your closing thoughts and your final score for this Golden Boy?
Yeah. So I had a lot of fun with Golden Boy. I thought it was a good Hasweek show, maybe too good for a Hasweek show.
Agreed.
Mhm.
Um, like I learned something, and I feel like I'm not supposed to do that. I'm supposed to come out confused.
Mhm.
But regardless, it was a lot of a fun time, and there was a lot of like moments. Um, which I know Has is a fan of. So I think ultimately we've succeeded. For me, this is an 8 out of 10. It's like a little too horny sometimes. But I just had a fun, good time. And it's not like it was good. It was really good. 8 out of 10.
Sounds like Bakemonogatari or something like that all over again. Right?
Yes.
That whole series, I guess. Yeah.
This is less offensively horny than Bakemonogatari is, in my opinion.
So
I think it's
Agreed.
less offensively horny, but it's as horny or more horny, I would say.
Yeah, but none of them
overall.
are Hachikuji, so
Or children. No, I agree.
yeah,
Well, that's
that's-
why. So yeah, the offensive part, fair. Like you know what you're getting when you sign up for this show. I guess you do with Monogatari too. But either way, that's. Kat, what about you?
I had a lot of fun with the show. I wasn't really expecting to. Hasweek has been a little bit of honestly a return of when I first started getting into anime, where it was like I didn't know what I was getting into, and I was just like, shit on the wall and see what suck. It was really fun, especially and the fact that we landed on Golden Boy, which is both critically acclaimed and something that seems like it's a Has show. I was really I enjoyed myself. Thank you, Has, for being the person you are, and thank you for influencing this band of idiots. And I am going to rate this one probably a 8 out of 10. Yeah.
8 out of 10. All right. Jay, what about you?
Pussies. This is a 10 out of 10. That's all.
You made my
Yeah.
math harder now. Pete, what about you?
I'm kind of with Jay, but if they just there's like one too many scenes of kids shitting their pants, one too many scenes of him licking a toilet bowl, just like stuff like that for me.
Pete, there were 3 too many scenes of him licking a toilet bowl.
I mean,
Yeah.
two's okay. Two's okay.
Okay.
That's
Rule-
right.
rule of-
Cross the line.
See,
Three's
shows
a
how,
little too
shows
much.
how little you know about comedy. Rule of threes is basic. You do something 3 times, and
Golden
that's
Boy
the
needs to do something different, and that's what makes Golden Boy. I'm giving it a 9. It was so much fun.
Yeah, if nobody else got me, I know Pete got me.
Woo!
9 for Golden Boy from Pete. All right, Has, what about you?
Yeah, man, Golden Boy was fun. I really liked a lot of it. I think Golden Boy has bad bitches and design, and I'm a big fan. I think to Miles' point, it is true that it was a little too good for a Has Week show. It was a little too, like
Give it a
the
4.
well I nah well I did like I said earlier, I really enjoyed this show casually. Right? Like I really was entertained, and I feel like it's what it did best was make me feel like I started watching anime again. When I used to get attached to these like cast of harem characters that were never gonna get development, but I could insert myself, and I was mad it was over. um, but I think like certain episodes were like the when they were more grounded, it took me out of it a little bit, I would have preferred to just be dumb fun the whole time for real. And as a result, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10 from Has. Alrighty. I am also on the 8 out of 10 train. I think, yeah, some of the scenes were just too over the top for me. And I also felt like I'm glad it was as short as it was because I think the horny bit, or, oh, I get it, haha, he's really horny, that bit ran pretty dry for me pretty quickly. I mean, they did diversify it enough where it was interesting at least, or kind of funny like once or twice an episode, but it got overwhelming for me. So, but I have to say I was not expecting this at all from this show. I was expecting to be a little more frustrated by it, especially by the end of the first episode. I was like, how am I going to get through all of this? And then episodes 3, 4, and 6 happened, and I think that helped me out a lot with it. So, yeah, 8 out of 10 from me. So yeah, that'll average our scores out to. It was the calculator's fault, not mine, by the way. Totally. An 8.5 is what we average out to, I believe, based off my math. Which is higher than than Mal has it. Mal has an 8.04. I wonder if we had other people too, from our club and other like people in our Discord in if our score would have gone up or down.
Trent loves it, so I feel like it'd probably go. I feel like we all would just
Johnny
like it.
probably would have been fine on it. I feel like.
Yeah, Johnny's a
Johnny-
7 for sure.
Yeah.
7
I don't
or
think
8,
Johnny's
yeah.
ever given anything higher than a 7. I think it's just all 7s.
He gave me an Abyss a 9. Oh wait,
Yeah.
he
Yeah,
wasn't. He wasn't there for that. Never mind.
He wasn't there, but he did do that.
He
Yes,
did,
he does
yeah.
like Vader Best. But yeah, no. Either way, I think that's interesting. We're pretty significantly higher compared to normal on a show. I bet it's just a lot of people getting ironically turned off by the horny bits. Um, so yeah, that'll wrap up our discussion in Golden Boy. And Miles, what are we watching for the week of July 24th?
Yes, so people voted, and I'm going to click the thing that gets me to the points that people scored. Okay, great. So in third place we have Kids in the Slope. Yeah, didn't make it. In second place we have Astra, Lost in Space.
Hey.
Hey, it's second legacy point. In first week, we have What Is Dead May Never Die. Has Weeks continues Megalobox Nomad. So we will be watching season 2 of Megalobox.
Yeah.
JW, let's.
That's how we fucking do it. That's how we fucking do it, baby.
It's another week where I gotta watch 2 seasons of anime where everybody watches 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey man, you're
Okay.
gonna love it.
Yellow Box is mostly just people punching each other, so you'll be okay.
That's
Mhm.
fair.
And it's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Frankly.
super cool.
It might be what I wanted Baki to be. So
It's better than Baki.
I mean, it's
Okay.
better than Baki, but I wanted Baki to be good.
Yeah.
So
Fair enough. All right, sweet. And so before the episode started, we kind of decided that we're gonna stick with this Has Week idea because it's free content within our own already free content of a club, and we're going to go week to week and nominate shows based on all of our club members. And we figured why not start off with Pete because that's a really easy person to nominate for because he's watched a lot of anime.
I have.
Yeah. So let's nominate or discuss what shows we're nominating for Pete. Kat, why don't you start us off?
oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool,
I'm mixing things
awesome.
up.
Great.
Alphabetical order.
Okay. So me and Pete have only watched this show, it seems like, and everyone else has just refrained from looking at it. I love it. He loves it. He's nominated it several times. I'm going to nominate it now. I'm nominating Asobi Asobase.
Ah, Workshop
That's
of
a clever
Fun,
one.
baby.
Yes, it is hilarious.
My favorite comedy of all time.
Yeah.
That's a really good nomination for Pete. I like that. All right, sweet. So that's Kat's nomination. Jay, what about you to stick with alphabetical order?
Come back to me. I'm deciding between 2. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Pete, what are you nominating for Pete Week?
Well, if there's one thing that I really
Pete
like.
get to nominate for Pete Week. We should.
Yes,
I don't
do.
think
beforehand.
I don't think Pete gets it.
Oh, I do.
I would
'cause
say no.
Who knows me better than me?
Most people.
Me,
Most people.
for sure.
Right. Okay.
Didn't Has nominate for Has? Oh no, he didn't.
No, you didn't.
Mhm.
But I'm gonna veto this as head honcho. I'm a eminent domain or whatever on the podcast.
Okay, sure. What's your nomination?
If there's
Pete?
2 things I love, it is seasonals and it is shoujo. So why not knock out both of them at the same time? I'm nominating Uku or Oku.
So I wanted to bring this up. We all have to okay that because episode 1 is like 80 minutes long.
Yeah, but it's
right?
only 10. It's only 10 episodes, so it like averages out to 12.
Okay, great. That works then.
Cool. All right. Uku it is. For Pete. Jay, are you ready or do you need time?
Sure, I can do this. I'm going to. You know what? It was between the. It was either the. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with Otaku Elf.
Okay.
Yes. Otaku
yeah,
Elf was so good.
That's a show. There you
The
go.
number 66 highest rated show on any list this year.
This year. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
From
I
the
was gonna say,
spring season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me bust out my 3 volumes of Otaku Elf. Let's go.
Sheesh. Alrighty. Has, what are you nominating for Pete Week?
Oh man, I just want to say I have a nomination, but I would like to before that also mention Pete.
So,
Pete watches way too much anime.
a lot.
I was gonna originally do Barakamon, but
So good.
then I was like I couldn't in my soul as has to do that. So I went through recommended a few layers and I found one and Pete's watched it but I bet he hasn't watched it in a while. So, I want to nominate School Babysitters.
Oh, Gawking Babysitters is
Wow.
so good. That's also a show, Joe. Let's go.
You feel me?
Gawking Babysitters
Yeah.
is so much fun.
Pete Week was a
Yo, if
mistake.
you like shit in your pants, vote for Gawking Babysitters.
I didn't, you know,
Thanks,
did-
Haz.
I did what I could.
Thanks,
They're
I did what I
kids.
could.
They're
I did-
kids.
I did what
They're
I
pooping
could.
their
Yeah, I get it.
I did what I
but-
could.
Way to
right
go,
here.
Haz. Woo!
All right. I guess I'll go to stick with alphabetical. I was stuck on a couple shows. I am not going to nominate Rocket Ocean Joe, though. I'm going to instead nominate a show that I adore and I think a lot of people would really enjoy in this group beyond just Pete. It's I Can't Understand What My Husband Is Saying. I'm going to nominate season one and season 2, just because it is a combined, I think, hour or so, both seasons, because it's 3-minute episodes for 13 episodes each. I know that math doesn't add up, but it's an hour and a half. Sorry. Yes, an hour and a half of content. So seasons 1 and 2 of I Can't Understand What My Husband Is Saying. I think that we'd have a lot of fun with that show. Miles, what are you nominating?
I thought long and hard about what Pete likes, and I was looking through shows. We got adult cast for
Yep.
this show. We got romance for
Love
this
it.
show. We got workplace for this show.
Wodakoi?
No.
We already did one.
I know, it was a joke.
It's important that friends support their friends, but it's also important that friends test their friends
Mm.
and see how true their love to those things I just mentioned are.
Mhm.
Which
I
is
went
why
to your
I
wedding.
Which is
I
why-
flew to your wedding. I spent hundreds of dollars. What have you done for me?
Well, you know,
Invited you to his
He-
wedding.
Tell us from anime you
Oh,
want to see.
I had the honor of attending.
Hey, the podcast was in my wife's vows. Think about that.
That honestly, I tell that story to this day. That was so cool.
Very cool.
So remember, all those things I said about what I'm about to say are true. These are all things with it. The show is called A Sister Is All You Need,
Oh no!
Yeah.
and it is a
Oh,
adult
my.
workplace
oh
rom-com.
my, oh my.
No!
You know what's gonna
Damn.
happen is everyone's gonna put this as like third, and it's gonna win, and everyone's gonna be like, "Why are we watching this? I only voted for third." And it's like, well, guess what, dum dum? That's
I'll put it
why.
first.
So
Well-
I do want to qualify. To much of my amazement, the main character in this doesn't have a little sister. He just writes stories about little sisters.
Yeah, it's like-
Ah.
Okay, yeah, all right.
It makes it so much better, Pete. You don't get it.
Yeah,
Like,
this
again,
is. I'm getting heavy.
worse,
I'm getting very heavy. It's not real vibes. They're just pictures vibes.
just have to
so-
watch to find out.
He likes
here's
writing
the
stories
thing.
about 300-year-old dragons.
Yeah.
We're here to review, okay? We're
Here's
not
the
necessarily agree.
Okay, before we move to the next thing, I just want to be on the record that Miles could eat a bag of dicks.
Respect.
Can't wait to watch
But-
it in 2
But
weeks.
here's the thing, though. I feel like like when we were nominating, when Pat nominated, I was like, that has got to be the most non-Pete show that's going to be nominated
Yep.
today.
And then Miles
Um,
one-upped it.
And then Miles one upped it.
The
Yeah.
thing is that mine on paper, if you
Mhm.
just looked at Mal, and you looked at that little corner, is a Pete show. And
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
curious.
Yeah, on
to see-
paper.
Yeah,
But I'm
yours
curious-
This
was-
is a
to see-
visual medium.
You were. It was. Isn't paper visual? I thought.
Yeah,
I don't
wait,
know.
what does that even
Yeah,
mean,
hold
Pete?
on. Yeah, no, and also
Not my eyes are
the
closed.
show I put up was on your plan to watch and has adults fucking in it. Like I don't know what more to say. Like that is like
No.
peak Pete.
You, for the Has Week, you nominated something that you've been trying to get people
Yes.
to
Yeah.
watch. Like,
Yeah,
I feel
Yes,
like-
this is a
I
show
feel
I
like-
have already watched too, so I don't care
Oh,
about watching
no.
it again.
it's
Yeah.
sus.
yeah, it sucks.
But-
Yeah, no, like you.
I would nominate something that I want to watch and that
Yeah.
the person would want to watch. That's what I'm going to
Yeah.
do.
And that's
every
why it's
single
not winning.
time.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the system is fucking corrupt.
I guess so. I guess so. I don't know. I thought that this was a good nomination, but
That is all I know. I know we do not
A
trust the
sister
system.
is all you know.
I thought it was all you need.
Oh,
That's all you need.
this is the sequel.
Sister is all you need.
He's
That's the
made
sequel
himself
when
a sister.
he gets Alzheimer's.
It's all he knows now because he's in prison.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm
real.
voting for this number 1. Let's see what the fuck happens.
No, Jay.
No.
But
I'm doing it too. I can't lie.
fuck it, we ball.
I hate
It's
it.
really
here.
evil out here. For real.
Pat, you got to go for blood with these.
Me?
Okay.
Roll us
let's,
out.
Yeah, let's wrap up.
All right,
Keith,
I'll do
that's-
it. All right. If you have made this far and you want to support us, the best way to do so, like, comment, subscribe, leave a review on whatever platform you are watching and or listening to us on. Next week is the summer first impressions. Has this summer been pretty mid? Yeah, but you know what? Zom 100 exists, and that shit's lit. Otherwise, if you are here for Watch Club, we will see you in 2 weeks for Megalobox 2 Nomad. Peace!